Welcome back to Dandrew, everybody. We are going to talk about Solo.
A Star Wars story.
Yeah.
But in China, they won't say that because it's never does well there. So they're trying to, like, not call it Star Wars, hoping that they'll just think it's some movie that's not related to Star Wars. And that's how they'll get their money.
Wait, does China not like Star Wars?
No, it does very poorly there.
Weird.
Maybe because they weren't in the space race? I don't know. That could be part of it. But Last Jedi, Force Awakens didn't do well in China. So
interesting thing about that little cultural difference.
Yeah, that's like things like Pacific Rim or Fast and Furious. Those will do great in China, but not Star Wars. Even though that always like explodes here. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was interesting.
It is interesting, actually.
I saw that article that they were like, we're not even going to put Star Wars in the name now.
We're just gonna...
Meanwhile, in America, it's like, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, please buy it. You know this.
We can't get away from it right now. It's, I remember when, like, I think it was more big just for, like, you know, just for, like, the prequels and whatnot. And
yeah.
The most insane thing we had outside of that was, like, the Clone Wars miniseries, or like the Clone Wars computer animated show, and it was like,
this is something else. This is something different.
This is all over the place.
Yeah, now they don't have any limit to stop. But I think looking back, I think it's fair to say this is the quickest another Star Wars film has come out in relation to another one, right?
Yeah,
within a 6 months.
Seems like it, yeah.
Or 5, because it was December we had Last Jedi, and it's only May.
That's right.
End of May. So it took 5 months between 2 Star Wars films, and it's amazing how fast I think audiences have just kind of, They all just, immediately once Star Wars films become an annual thing, people start getting used to them, and they're like, okay, Star Wars is back, we get it. Now it's every 5 months.
I was going to say, it was probably the Last Jedi that made that
Yeah,
happen.
Definitely for me, because I was a big Star Wars fan. I liked Force Awakens a lot, and I liked Rogue One a lot, and I enjoyed them. And I knew they had flaws, but I enjoyed them. But you remember our Dandrew on Last Jedi, and that definitely tipped me over the edge into I'm starting not to be as interested in where this is going.
It's like, well, Ryan screwed that up.
Yeah, and refuses to like apologize or admit failure or admit defeat on anything.
Sometimes you just gotta take an L and be like, all right, I screwed up. I'm sorry.
There's a couple of things I got wrong, but there's also a lot of things he got wrong, but I mean, whatever.
A couple.
But
everything.
So now Solo's an even bigger mess because at least The Last Jedi had one director throughout the whole production.
Yeah.
Now we had 2 directors, filmed 90% of the movie, got fired, picked Ron Howard, reshot the whole movie, hired an acting coach for the main lead because apparently his acting was so stale. So if you're just reading the drama around this, it's not... It'll be a miracle if this is decent, to be honest. So where do we begin? Let's talk about what we think will happen. I know you don't care, Dan.
I know. I'm trying to keep that open mind because I'm like, okay, no, this is something people are interested in. We gotta talk about this, but I can't bring myself to give a single solitary crap. And I hate that. I don't like that, you know? I mean,
this is what being a film journalist is about, though. It's like confronting yourself with like stuff you're not that interested in. And I do this in the tech world as well. I don't care about the Galaxy S9. I don't care about the OnePlus 6. But people want my attention on it.
Yeah.
So I have to say something.
Well, I hate it in particular for this because I like Star Wars.
I did.
I mean, even when it's bad, like, I can watch The Phantom Menace all day, and I'd be like, this is cancer, but you know what? I can still kind of enjoy it because I'm like, I get to see some weird laser battles and lightsaber fights. Who doesn't like that? Even if it is terrible and horrible writing.
Yeah, and we can make fun of it in regards to the production of it. Isn't like, oh, that looks terrible. Oh, why did they do green screens?
Right.
We don't really have that now. Like with Last Jedi, it's like, no, production-wise, it all looks great. It's just the writing's such hard to follow, and it's hard to let so many things go that it's like... And you're constantly thinking about what this could have been.
Yeah.
You're thinking about the Rey flashback in Force Awakens. You're thinking about her parents. You're thinking about how cool it would have been if Luke Skywalker came back and fought, and he didn't. And you're just like, ugh. This is hard to forget about. So I guess with Solo, my anticipation is that they're trying to make it very heavily an arc thing.
Yeah.
Is then Solo is not anything at all like the Solo we know and love.
Yeah, it's not Harrison Ford.
Yeah, because we know that no matter how this movie goes,
it's not.
It all ends with him getting stabbed and falling to his death. So,
tip for people who want to write: if you're going to make a prequel to something, don't make it to a prequel of a character that's going to die in the end.
Well, I mean, why is Rogue One okay? Is it because all the characters are new?
It's because all the characters are new, and in the end, we
don't know if they.
Who the hell was Jyn Erso when A New Hope was happening? Nobody even thought of that.
Yeah, no one knows.
But then when they made this,
but we knew they were going to steal the plans to the Death Star.
We knew that was going to happen, and we were going to see that whole sacrifice unfold, and it was going to be.
But the mystery was more about who will survive this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not only that,
we don't have that.
It showed us a darker side of the rebellion. You know.
Yeah.
Like that one scene in the bazaar where we can't remember anybody's names except Jyn. But when the main rebel spy, that guy, meeting with his contact, kills his contact. It's like, I thought you were the good guy.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, all's fair in love and war, and it's like, jeez.
Yeah, they kind of set a new tone, whereas Solo, the bigger issues, not only do we know he survives, but we know that he's going to walk away with the Millennium Falcon. Mm-hmm. We know that from backstory. We also know that the other character, Lando, is going to survive. We know Chewie is going to survive. Mm-hmm. So I guess your point of tolerance with Rogue One was that basically all the characters we knew, we didn't know if they were going to live or die. It was all mystery for all those characters.
Besides, I think Tarkin and Princess Leia, which those are kind of forgivable ones.
Oh yeah, super minor characters.
Super
those
minor
are cameos.
They're cameos.
Yeah, they're not even characters.
Exactly. And we just saw, the world was opened up, and we find out, oh my god, there's, a sect of the Rebel Alliance that even the rebels don't want to deal with, because they're like, no, those guys are crazy. You don't mess with them.
The rebels have extremists.
The rebels have extremists, yeah. Okay. It opened everything up, and it's you had this whole universe that was just colorful as hell, and then this added, a huge dab of, the darkest gray you could possibly imagine.
Right.
And it was amazing. But...
Right.
While
still paying, I think, respect to the original.
Exactly.
With, Vader's appearance.
And even building on that. Because we
making
see
Vader feel more intimidating.
Yeah.
Because he never really has that super scary moment in A New Hope.
I know that your favorite moment in that entire movie was just whoom.
Yeah. You're complaining about the protagonist of Rogue One having a stale part. Mm-hmm. But only one Star Wars film has a scene where Darth Vader throws a rebel onto the ceiling and then he slices his intestines open after throwing all of their guns out of their hands with the Force. And I was like, that's just awesome.
That's just enough to you know what? Everything else is kind of forgiven.
Vader was not a major character in Rogue One. It was more of a cameo.
He was formidable, though.
Yes. He was in 3 scenes. So
they commands those 3 scenes.
Here's new characters. You don't know if they're going to live or die. Mm-hmm. You know where the plot goes, but you don't know where the characters are going. With Solo... I think the difference between this prequel and Rogue One is that we know where the character's going.
Exactly.
We both know how he dies, and we know who he turns into.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the cringy part, I think, about all these trailers we're seeing, is it's they're doing he's not charismatic, he's not very smooth, he's kind of clunky, he's kind of awkward. And it's I wonder where this character's going.
Yeah.
I wonder where Chewie's going.
Oh.
Chewie's going to keep making that sound.
Yeah.
And Solo is going to know what it means.
Maybe we're going to find out that Chewie actually spoke Spanish or something. I don't know. Or maybe he just actually did R2-D2 beeps.
Okay.
I don't...
Just do a Chewie impression of R2-D2.
What can we take away from this as it stands? Because we already know where the end point is for some of these characters.
Okay.
I mean...
So yeah, I was going to say probably the weaker points of Rogue One is that we know the plot.
Okay.
We know the inevitable ending of the plot.
Right.
The mystery of Rogue One was, do the people die? And now with Solo we don't have either. Mm-hmm. It's plot-wise, I don't know, is it wrong to say characters are above what happens?
Not necessarily.
That's more important because
I think it depends on how huge the problem is. Or how much intrigue there is. So
what do you think the main conflict of this film is going to be? Just Solo? My anticipation is going to have something to do with Jabba.
Maybe.
Jabba's man, because
another character we know where that goes. We know he's going to get his comeuppance in the end,
and we know he's going to get choked to death by Carrie Fisher.
Yeah,
but regardless, like we're going to have a Boba Fett type character or some kind of assassin that's after him.
See, I would totally be fine with that because I would totally be fine if they like just did Boba. Isn't that going to be a thing? A Boba Fett movie?
Well, they were talking about making Boba Fett a actual film. I don't know if that's still happening. It might not, but that was an idea.
I'd be kind of okay with that. Like I don't see him just letting himself die.
Pit.
I don't see him letting himself die in a Sarlacc pit. I feel like he just like claw and crawl.
Oh, you're saying after Jedi?
After Jedi.
Okay. Well, now you have my interest.
Yeah.
If we highlighted more films that took place between 6 and 7, because a lot of the backstory they reference between Snoke and the First Order and Luke training the Jedi, that sounds like interesting stories to be told.
Yeah.
Instead, we're still stuck in this Clone Wars Rebels, like in between 4 and 3. They keep building on that. But my prediction for the plot is that there's going to be some kind of like thing he's running from.
Yeah.
He has to get out of Jabba debt. Greedo.
There you go.
Greedo's after him. And
Han shot first.
Yes. No, it's not even a debate. Even Disney says Han shot first.
Good. I'm still mad at
one thing they did right. Yeah. But someone's going to be after him, so he's going to want to go with like the team, the Woody Harrelson run team. And I think Woody Harrelson has a big old target painted on his head.
Yeah.
Every poster I can see, I'm like, okay, we know you don't make it, so obviously they're going to kill him.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing Disney, like...
Him and Emilia Clarke are probably going to die.
Oh, yeah. Because isn't Emilia Clarke supposed to be kind of the love interest in this film?
I assume so. I haven't watched trailers.
I think Red Letter Media has a good idea that they're going to have a moment where Han says, I love you, and Emilia says, I know. She's going to be like a double agent. She's going to end up working for Jabba. She's going to turn him in, and then he's going to get that same line given to him that he gave to Leia.
Yeah.
And it's going to be symmetry. It's all
I feel like that would actually hurt the chemistry of like Han and Leia, though, wouldn't it?
Because doesn't it make Han just like a playboy now?
Yeah.
He just dates
I mean,
whoever
don't get me
with.
wrong. I totally could see Han just trying to get down with whatever will, tickle his fancy, but that like...
He'll do anything.
That held something, I think. Like, it's been a while since I've watched Empire, but just...
There was something different about her.
There was something different about that. It's like, there's a good amount of chemistry here, and he's just like, I know. It's like, that's pretty good.
Right, but like, I can already see this movie going the route of the love interest, like, tricks him. Or like, because obviously either she's going to die and he'll lose from it, or she's going to be a double cross.
I hope they wouldn't do that after they just pulled it with Benicio del Toro. Yeah. And it's like, oh, we're all wondering it now.
Disney's got plot twists on the mind. Yeah. They have to keep... this is what you think's going to happen, but then it doesn't. But my issue with that is in Empire, like, it wouldn't resemble that Han would like be afraid to open himself up to someone again. Like, if this movie has the double cross or the loss, he should be hesitant, right? In the next relationship, to be like, I don't want to love this character because I lost someone. Okay. We don't have any reference to that in the actual originals. Meaning that I think my big complaint, at least with Solo, is that you're building on something that doesn't can't be built on.
Yeah.
As in, we like Han Solo. Cool character. But the more you try to explain of his backstory, the more irrelevant the original trilogy becomes. Because now it's like, well, why doesn't he act like this?
It's the same reason why you wouldn't want to make like a Boba... Like, one of the biggest reservations about Boba Fett having his own movie, it's because like you don't want to destroy the mystery.
He's very mysterious.
Boba Fett is one of the most recognizable movie characters of film history.
And he came from the holiday special.
He has 5 lines and he came from a holiday special.
He was an animated character.
Do you know what that wasteland was like, people? Okay?
The holiday special, of all places, to birth, like, well-known Star Wars imagery. And
to the point where even, like, his weird hitting on aliens in Return of the Jedi and the special editions, that doesn't hurt him.
Because you don't know.
You don't know him.
There's just so much... like, you don't even know what he looks like.
You don't.
Well, I guess we see him in prequels, but we don't know what he looks like grown up.
You see his dad.
Yeah, and we see him as a little kid, right?
Yeah.
So... But yeah, I'd be with you on making more films that take place between 6 and 7.
Because there's such a huge gap in time there.
Yes. I think more, though, that Disney was probably aiming for Boba Fett in the 3 and 4 era.
Okay.
Like,
wow.
as the main antagonist of Han Solo. But I personally think they're probably like...
Do Han Solo and Boba have like a thing? Is that the biggest rivalry of the entire galaxy?
I guess it is, right? Like
it doesn't seem like it should be. I mean, Boba Fett's just a bounty hunter. He doesn't really...
He's hunting... Well, I mean, I guess you're right.
He's just a mercenary. Why would he want to
Well,
hunt
he was
Han?
hired by Vader to hunt Han, remember?
Yeah, but
he went to a bunch of bounty hunters and said, "Kill Han Solo."
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean he has a general animosity towards Han on principle.
If anything, they should have a hate against Obi-Wan for killing his...
Yeah.
Or Mace Windu for killing his dad.
Just Jedi in general, basically.
Yeah, he should have a thing against the Jedi. But Han Solo's not pro-Jedi.
He's not.
Especially in the trilogy.
If anything, he's basically just kind of neutral, right?
In the sequel trilogy, he's like, no, it's all real.
He's like, no, it's there.
But in the originals, at least... which this is taking place before, we know that Solo really doesn't care about the Jedi. He's kind of out of that. He's like, it's all a bunch of baloney. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll have any Sith Jedi stuff? It looks like there's someone in the trailer that kind of has a Kylo Ren looking mask. I don't know if they're going to highlight much of that.
I would like to know more about the Knights of Ren, but...
Hey... if they're able to elaborate on it at all in this...
I mean, if I could come away with it and be like, I didn't like this movie, but at least I know what the hell that was.
Like that...
I'd call that a win, to be honest.
Like that video I showed you of the Last Jedi spliced together.
That was a great video.
There's some great fan-made montages.
There's amazing fan-made montages.
that these crappy movies provide good flashbacks for. So we'll have footage of things that'll be useful for them, I guess. But
yeah, I just can't stop thinking about how I want to know what the first really major fan edit was, because I think it might have been Highlander 2.
There's some really old fan edits. They started making Star Wars stuff.
Well, no, Highlander 2 got so popular just with not only with how bad it was, but because so many fans of the original Highlander movie were like, we can't let this stand, and they basically reverse engineered the entire sequel, and that's what people actually kind of considered canon.
Oh wow, okay.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that'd be trickier to do with Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
People versus Disney, but no, I just mean will they elaborate at all with? Oh, okay, there's one thing they referenced in the trailers was the dice. They show Solo with the dice, and it's like, all right, you referenced something in Last Jedi that no one knew what you were talking about, but now you're making it up. In Solo. So you can be like, see, we planned that, but you're filming it out of order.
I would rather this be maybe we find out something about the Kessel Run.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to go that route, especially with Lando. Because Lando flies the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. And
we know how he lost it, so we know Han's going to win it in this somehow. But
this whole dice thing, it's like, okay, listen, I like The Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi obviously is canon now, so I have to kind of deal with that.
I think individually, people can decide what's canon. But yes,
anyway,
if we're talking about in the eyes of Disney.
Well, the point is that it's trying to do this reference to the dice. Oh, and Last Jedi... No, Last Jedi doesn't exactly have the same pedigree as, Empire or Return of the Jedi or A New Hope or anything.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't be like, whoa, what? Here, these are Han's. When the hell did he have those?
Right.
Solo! Oh my god.
No, I mean, it would have been clever if they did it the opposite way. As in, we established in this trilogy that the character has this object and this memorabilia, and then later reference to it. I'm about to wrap up Lost Season 6.
Oh, God.
And they're doing a lot of references to Season 1. They're like, remember this, remember this. See, that's addressing an earlier developed point.
Right.
If they would have just referenced something and the audience went, what?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. And then, next season, do a flashback and say, this is what we were referencing to. Then it wouldn't have made sense.
Yeah.
Which is what they're doing here. They're like, we're referencing Solo, but Solo hasn't come out yet, so what are we talking about? It also is just kind of interesting that the trailer for Solo was they had no trailer until 3 months before the movie came out. And every Star Wars film stretches further and further of how close until the trailer drops. Force Awakens, the trailer dropped 15 months before the movie.
Yeah.
Rogue One, trailer dropped about 10 months before the movie. Last Jedi, It was 8 months. Now it's 3. Now they're like, we're going to drop it on you at the last second. Yeah.
They're not...
Like, they're like, by the way, this weekend a new Star Wars film is coming out.
Right.
And they're hoping to catch you at the last second and be like, by the way, new movie. And everyone goes, oh yeah, that's coming out. And that's why so many people with Han Solo are just like, oh, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm personally hoping, like, I'm going to watch it so I understand what all my movie review channels are saying.
Yeah.
And that I get the context, but I'm still really hoping this flops. I'm hoping it's like a wake-up call.
Yeah.
So that Disney can say...
Disney needs to have a... Are you familiar with Operation Market Garden at all?
No.
Okay, so we're just going to delve into World War II history a little bit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just to illustrate a point. Because this was...
Star Wars is heavily based on World War II.
Yeah,
stuff, so.
There you go. It connects.
It connects.
It's symmetry. So it was an offensive by the Allies,
mm-hmm.
and it was like I believe it was a massive paratrooper operation mm-hmm. over Holland and whatnot in that general area of Europe.
Okay.
It did not go well. It lasted 11 days, and it was a bloodbath.
All right.
I'm kind of hoping it's a bloodbath for Solo. This needs to be their Operation Market Garden, where they're like, okay, time to reassess.
I hope this is... Yeah, I'm hoping this is a wake-up call of like, see, you thought you could milk Star Wars for a good 10 years.
Yeah.
Turned out you could milk it for 3.
Mm-hmm. Like,
people are already fatigued by it. Like, you should really... I don't know exactly how Marvel makes their movies, but Lucasfilm specifically, because I guess Disney owns Marvel, they need to replicate that process.
Yeah. Because
I don't know how they do it with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but they basically are like Doctor Strange with the time gem, and they're like, which hypothetical scenario results
mm-hmm.
in the best outcome?
Right.
Let's pick the one that results in the most amount of people being happy
mm-hmm.
and the least amount of people being sad.
Yeah.
They didn't do that with The Last Jedi.
No.
They were like, let's trust one guy with the whole franchise and hope he does a good job.
The guy who made Looper, which is horribly inconsistent.
Let's give this like $1 billion budget to him, and don't let him talk with JJ at all about how the script writes, or did Ryan even see Force Awakens? Like, did you even get any of it? And like mimic that. I don't know what it is. Maybe they like pitched Infinity War to a bunch of audiences before it came out, and they were like, so did you like that one? And they were like, some people were like, no, that one was weird, and then they pitched them a different one. Maybe it ends like this, and then all the audiences
and they did that 14 million times.
Yeah, they did it 14 million times, and the audiences were like, yeah, that one. That's a good one. So they go, okay, we'll film that one.
Yeah.
I need Lucasfilm to do that.
Right?
Because right now they're just kind of like, creative art style. We're going to hand it off to one person, and they're going to decide. And then they do that with the Millers, and then they fire them, and they're like, never mind.
Sinking ship.
I'm just like, I know this is going to make $1 billion. I just hope it makes...
I guess it shouldn't be like, look. It should be just like...
TIE fighter crash.
TIE fighter crash.
Yes. I hope it's just like a wake-up call so that they're like, we need to figure out what we're doing.
Yeah. And
maybe not make... Well, you know, I want to say, like, don't make a new Star Wars film every year, but Marvel's able to do it 3 times a year.
There's a difference. There's a huge difference.
What do you think it is?
I think it's just because of the fact that Star Wars, while it does have a lot of expanded lore, it's not something that... There's a lot of stuff that goes into that expanded lore.
Okay.
Marvel just kind of throws anything at the wall, and they address problems later.
Okay.
Like, I can find you probably, like, about 50 dozen retcons and inconsistencies within the last year of comics alone. We don't want to even get started on 5 decades worth.
Yeah. You know what I think it could possibly be?
What?
I think it's the fact that Marvel's was filmed in chronological order.
Yeah, too.
And nearly half of every Star Wars film takes place before the originals. Mm-hmm. We've got Rogue One, we've got Solo, we've got the trilogy. There's like 5 films plus Clone Wars plus Rebels that all take place before the original trilogy started. Whereas the MCU all started with Iron Man, the first one, and it's been growing from since then.
We've kind of...
There's Captain America.
There's Captain America, now there's Captain Marvel,
But those are so separated from the rest. It's like Wonder Woman, you know, like they don't... It has so little to do. Yeah. It's not like Revenge of the Sith, how everyone has to jump to place to where they were in A New Hope. You know, it takes place 70 years before. It doesn't take place 2 years before. In Rogue One, literally takes place like seconds before A New Hope starts. So, I think what helps with the MCU is that it's like it started at one point and it's kind of branching out in many different ways forward. Mm-hmm. And that's why when we go to see Infinity War, we're like, I wonder what's going to happen.
Well, it's like the MCU all has a pretty much universal goal at this point.
They all come back for the Avengers.
It's like a web.
Right, but they all keep
Spider-Man web
coming back together, whereas and it all feels very organized. Mm-hmm. It's like this was all intentional. Like
even if it's not good, it still feels like everything's been calculated.
Right. Avengers Infinity War, they were hyping towards for a long, long time, ever since the first Avengers film. They were leading up to this. They were like, this is where we're inevitably going to go. Whereas Star Wars, starts in the 70s, come back in the early 2000s, flops, everyone hates it, comes back in 2015.
Everybody loves it.
Everyone loves it, and then they go down south again.
Except some of the guys from Red Letter Media, I guess.
They like the new trilogy, the sequel trilogy, more than the prequels. They just hate the prequels.
Everybody hates the prequels.
And I'm like, they're bad in different ways. I think the prequels were terribly in a production sense, whereas, especially with The Last Jedi, it's terrible in a plot, like how it works with the rest of the franchise sense. It destroys so much of what Luke stood for, and it is hypocritical with the Knights of Ren and everything. Production-wise, they're great. Like Rogue One, Force Awakens, Last Jedi.
Good.
A+ on practical effects, puppets. So I guess that's probably why RLM doesn't hate them as much, is because they're probably impressed by that. But to me, it doesn't matter, because I think they're too distracted with look at the effects, and not focusing on the plot, which isn't making any sense.
Right.
And I think there's like a dozen different ways the plot could have gone and still been satisfying.
Yeah. And
they somehow chose the one that wasn't satisfying. It's simple. Just don't include Luke milking something. It's that simple. Like, just...
Or, let Leia die in space.
Exactly.
Am I heartless for wanting that to be the way she went out?
I thought everyone did. Like, she fell off, and it was like, oh, wow, Kylo Ren is this, like... Well, I guess he didn't pull the trigger, but... like...
It could have been a really... I mean, they could have made... Maybe they could have shot her as, like, a ghost Leia for a little bit. Yeah. She's got Jedi.
She's got Force powers. Could have is the big word with The Last Jedi. Yeah. Think of all the ways things could have gone, and yet didn't. But, so for Solo, I'm anticipating... Like, an arc story. He starts off all awkward, but he's running from Greedo or some kind of assassin sent by Jabba because he rips off Jabba. Meets Chewie. He's funny, and they're quirky, and they've got some cute lines together. Like, you're 900 years old? You look great, and stuff like that. He's just a little kid, but by the end of it, he's going to be cool and slick, and he's like, now we're official. Let's see what else is out there, and then... Dun, 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 dun. So it's going to be like...
Stop doing this whole between the prequels and the originals crap. Just do something between the originals and this good...
The sequel trilogy.
The sequel trilogy.
You've told us so much about that time period, and yet shown none of it. Between the Knights of Ren, Snoke, Rey, her parents. You keep hinting at this little area, and we've got this big gap there of 30 years. We've got so much content to stuff between 3 and 4.
I want to see, like, a little short film detailing, like, the rise of the First Order from some...
I would like to see a feature film of that.
That'd be cool, right?
I'd rather see a film that's like Luke raising the Jedi and Kylo Ren learning to become a Jedi. Let's just highlight that instead of make a whole trilogy that's just the originals again. Let's skip the Luke part and let's just focus on the new stuff that changed. I don't know, but
I'm physically fatigued from thinking about this.
You have Star Wars fatigue.
I have Star Wars fatigue.
I don't think Solo as a movie, like... I don't think it'll be, if you separate it from the rest of the franchise, that bad. Unless they completely go Last Jedi on me, because Ron Howard is a competent director.
Yeah.
I think they're bringing him at the last minute to be like, just make something decent.
Yeah.
So...
Like, you made Cocoon, do good here!
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's literally going to be like, fine, But the main problem with the movie is, why does it exist? We didn't need this. It's kind of like our problems with Black Panther. We were like, okay, we got nothing out of the universe from this. You just expanded on something that said, all right, that doesn't matter. Moving on.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it didn't...
It couldn't have been... It wasn't like... Like, Black Panther should have been something like Doctor Strange, where even if Doctor Strange was kind of forced and a little bit too fast, at least it brought up stuff like Dormammu or the whole multiverse.
Well, yeah, and it expanded on the possibilities of the Infinity Stone. It was like, we didn't know that there was a time stone that could make
Black
this happen.
Panther's just like, and here's where he went.
Black Panther was like, there's this terrible villain known as Killmonger who wants to take over the world, and we killed him and we stopped him, and that's thought. Bye.
Yeah.
And then it was like, so what did that have to do with Infinity War? Oh, nothing. You could not watch Black Panther and Infinity War moves exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Other than, like, Wakanda exists.
Yeah.
Big surprise. You could get that from a trailer, but...
I guess you'd have to wonder exactly, why are all these tribal people using techno spears?
Why are they now we know. Yeah. The spears have shotguns. So much for... primitive, or whatever it is. They hated guns in the Black Panther movie, and it's like, you use guns, just relax. Anyway,
not even that. It's like you're still using spears. I don't care how technologically advanced it is. It's still a spear.
Right.
The most basic weapon there is.
So, in conclusion, Solo's probably going to be
a bomb.
If you, people are going to watch it. You know.
It'll be
people. There will be a fairly large box office, but my hope is that it'll be lower than average.
Same.
Like the Justice League of Star Wars films. It's like this is lower than usual.
I don't want this to be like After Earth, where had a huge box office boom on the first day. Next day, it just dropped like 50%.
That's Dawn of Justice's record for that.
Yeah.
Dropped 70% following weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, everyone saw it, and then no one saw it.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, nope, I'm done with this. I'm not interested.
Just that one...
And that permanently damaged their sales for future DC movies. Like, I don't even think there's a trailer out for the next DC film.
Good. Don't lie to us. Just make a good movie, and we'll probably come and see it.
They all just gave up. DC was like, sorry. It's like, when's the new Batman? When's the new Cyborg? When's the new one? We don't know. We're not good at this. We're sorry. Bye. And they just kind of closed the doors.
We're gonna declare Section 8 and reconnoiter some things.
Yeah, because I mean, Justice League got significantly lower box office than they were expecting.
They should have. That should have been freaking a boom.
Well, you'd hope that because it was mildly better than the rest, that it would, set up sales, but no, everyone's just lost interest.
Let's not oversell how much better it was.
Yes, I agree. Even that minor statement saying that it was better than the rest isn't really that much better. It was more uplifting. They took the saturation bar and they went, it's more colorful.
Yeah.
And everyone went, we don't care. You killed Superman and Batman. We're not interested. So Solo is going to be, I think, okay if you've never seen a Star Wars film. But that's kind of the point of a Star Wars film, is to elaborate on the universe. And this one's going to be like, we didn't need that. Mm-hmm. We'd rather watch some other character we've never heard of. If you're excited for Solo, please let us know why.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I mean,
give us a comment.
Was Han Solo your favorite character in the original trilogy?
It's been so long, I honestly can't remember.
You don't think he stood out as the best?
I always liked Indiana Jones more than Han Solo.
Me too.
That's just okay. I mean,
on
one's basically
paper,
a pirate in space who's fighting with the Resistance, doing all this stuff. The other one's a professor that punches Nazis in his downtime.
But he's afraid of snakes.
I mean, everybody's got their thing.
Sean Connery's afraid of rats. Face to face with Hitler, and he handed him his book. Meanwhile, Han Solo meets Darth Vader, pulls out blaster, and immediately starts shooting.
Well,
so one of these characters is more BA than the other, but with Solo, it's not going to prove that any further. It's going to be like, Solo had sad parts too.
Yeah.
Solo used to be stupid, and we'll be like,
oh, did he have sad parts? I didn't realize that Carbonite was freaking cheerful.
I didn't realize that witnessing your son stab you in the heart wasn't sad enough.
Yeah.
We need more moments of failure. Anyway.
That's the video, guys. Just...
I was going to say, Dan, don't go too much Indiana Jones because they're making another one of those, too.
Oh, and me. And me.
Why? Who saw Crystal Skull and was like, we need to add to this?
Tell me they don't decide to do the thing with Shia.
I hope that in the next Indiana Jones they kill off Harrison Ford in like the first 10 seconds.
Please God, yes.
And then just move it on to someone else. Hopefully not Shia. I don't think he's acting anymore, but I know that Spielberg and Harrison Ford are up for a 5th one, and I'm like, just give up. Please.
Oh,
All right,
that's our video. Just tell us what you think in the comments. We want to hear more about this because we're doomsday profiting right now. We don't like it when we doomsday profit, but as always,
I'm now a Marvel fanboy.
Oh God!
I like where this universe is going. You know, when people say like, "Who's gonna be excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp after Infinity War?" I was like,
everyone.
Wait, what if Ant-Man and the Wasp gets a bigger box office than Solo? That would be wonderful. Please, let's make it happen, people.
Are we gonna call our shot on that?
Let's all see Ant-Man and the Wasp twice.
Yes.
And then intentionally pirate Solo.
I like Paul Rudd.
Because Han Solo is a space pirate. So would he space pirate space movies? Let us know.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the next one.
I'm Danny Movie Man.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You didn't do this.